we're just going to do a little, like 15, 20-minute movement flow. Not high energy at all, just taking it easy. There may be some stretches that are a little bit deep, so always just go to what you feel most comfortable. Okay. So letting yourself snuggle down into the ground, you want to make sure your back is right where it needs to be. That's in good posture. So you're looking for the center of the back of the pelvis, a little lightness in the back of the waist. Both sides of the pelvis equal onto the floor. We're looking for shoulder blades to be tucked down. If you had two pockets on either side of your back, your shoulder blades are trying to press down into them. And then a little bit of realigning your head so that you can find yourself right on the back of the skull. There's a little bump back there. You want to be just above it. And letting yourself just take one deep breath in. And just letting it out through the mouth. And on your next inhalation, go ahead and let your arms just float overhead, getting that little stretch. If you've been in front of a computer, this is going to feel sometimes like a back bend. And then as you exhale, just let your arms come back down. We'll do that again, just taking the arms overhead. Stay there. Exhale all the air out, bring the lower back towards the floor. Inhale, get that little arch again. And exhale, arms down alongside the body. Again, taking the arms over, find that little arch. Exhale, press the lower back towards the floor. Inhale, arch again. This time as you exhale, draw your knees in towards you. Inhale, feet to floor, arms overhead, finding that little arch. Exhale, lower back to the ground. Inhale again, arch. And exhale, knees and hands come together. And this time, take both feet up to the ceiling. We'll just let the ankles roll around a few times, a little point and flex. And then letting both feet come down to the floor. Rearrange your pelvis if you need to. Let yourself take another deep breath in. Letting it all out. We'll go ahead and draw both knees into the chest. Give a little extra squeeze and feet to ceiling. This time push through the heels, let the toes tip to you, pressing into the back of the pelvis rather than letting the waistline squeeze to the floor. We're looking for that back of pelvis. Engaging a little bit more into the hamstrings. Go ahead and release. Let the knees open apart, a little breath here. Exhaling, closing the knees. Again, we'll take feet up, flex, press into the back of the pelvis, and draw the knees in. As you exhale, inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more time, we'll take both feet up to the ceiling, press through the feet, especially the heels, tipping the toes. We'll stay here for an extra breath or two. Feel the back of the pelvis pressing into the ground, engaging more through the back of the legs. And we'll go ahead and tuck the knees in and release both feet to the floor. Looking for a little bridge pose here as you take the arms overhead. So if you're used to going up really high in your bridge pose, think about going maybe halfway of what you would normally go. And then letting the arms and the pelvis come to the floor. As you inhale, lifting pelvis, maybe go a little bit higher than the first one, but nowhere near where you would normally go. And exhale down. Inhale even a little bit higher, maybe getting closer to your regular spot, or what you think of your regular spot, the bridge. And this last, fourth time, taking yourself up to what you consider your limit. And we'll stay there for one full breath, arch side of the foot into the ground, and then letting yourself return to the floor. Let's go ahead and draw just the right knee in, foot to ceiling. We'll point and flex a few times, seeing if you can pull that shin a little closer towards you. So we're getting deeper into the hamstring. Hold flexion, so we're inviting the toes to be towards us. If the knee is bent, trying to hold the foot above the hip so it's not way back here. And then go ahead and release. We'll take the right knee over the left. So it's not ankle to knee, but knee to knee. And letting both knees just begin to rock a little bit towards the left side of the mat. And then go ahead and come back into center. Do that 2 more times. As you exhale, letting those knees kind of tangled up, go to the left. Inhale, coming back to center. 1 more time. Tangled up knees and take them to the left, and we'll stay for 1 full breath. And exhaling back to center. Unwind. Place both feet to the floor. Straighten yourself out on your mat if you need to. We'll take legs down the mat. Big full body stretch here. The inhale kind of stretches you from inside out. And as you exhale, sliding your feet back up towards you, and we'll take left foot to ceiling. Getting that little point and flex again here, getting a little deeper into the hamstring. Check to see if you've rolled your pelvis up off the floor and keep it grounded. And hold flexion. If you want, you can pull your foot a little bit more towards you. And then we'll hold flexion. Still looking for the back of the pelvis to stay grounded. Belly stays engaged here. Relaxing in the shoulders. This is just concentrating in the lower part of your body. And we'll go ahead and release. You may want to bend the knee a little bit, and then we'll take left knee over right, so it's knee to knee. Arms open to a T, and both knees drifting to the right on the exhale. Inhale, coming back to center. And again, exhale, knees are tangled up. Inhaling back to center. 1 last time, taking the knees over, and we'll stay. So the knees may be nowhere near the ground, not to worry. You're looking for the end range in the hip, end range in the shoulder. And then go ahead and letting yourself come back to center, untangle. And we'll let both legs go down the mat again. Full body stretch, stretching yourself from the inside out with that deep breath. This time, hold. As you exhale, draw knees to chest. Pull everything in on the exhale, forehead to knees. And then we'll release feet to ground. Just give yourself a moment to breathe. And rolling over onto your side. Go ahead and come on up. Grab a little piece of blanket and putting it underneath your seat bones. We'll come to a simple crossed leg. Find your normal crossed leg. Just notice whatever leg is in front. And then we're going to switch it. The one that was in front is going to tuck in. So it's kind of like sitting in somebody else's legs. So we're looking for both seat bones to be on the floor. So for some people, this is kind of a tough spot, so maybe you want to put a little more padding underneath your seat bones. We'll go ahead and take the arms overhead. Reaching up, you don't have to bring your arms to your ears, that's okay. Just taking them to where you feel the most comfortable right now. And as you exhale, we'll take a right hand around to the left shin, and left hand comes around. Rather than the knee, because a lot of times we grab the knee and we want to pull. We're just going to rest the hand on the shin so the movement is really happening in the ribs. We'll go ahead and reach all the way back up as high as you can. And then same thing on this side. Right arm comes around, left hand just rests on the shin, and you find your twist from here, just in the ribs. Inhaling, reaching all the way up again. And we'll release. Letting your legs just stretch out, give your knees a little bit of a break and ankles. And now we'll go ahead and cross back the way you would normally sit. We'll do the same thing again. Taking the arms overhead, breathing in as you lift up. Exhaling, left hand comes to the hand comes to the right shin, and turning to look around. Inhale, reaching up. And right hand comes to left shin, just turning in the rib cage. And we'll inhale, reaching all the way up. Trying to hold the center of the head, if it were empty, over the center of the ribs, over the center of the pelvis. Go ahead and pull your elbows down So we're in this Joshua tree kind of posture. Elbows or goalpost are here just at the same level as your shoulders. We'll hold this for one more breath. And bring your hands down to your knees. Go ahead and tuck the tailbone a little bit and just stretch through the upper back. Chin drops towards the chest. Take a deep breath up into the upper back and lower back. Hold at the top of that inhale. Exhale. And we'll go ahead and come on up. So let's go ahead and grab the blanket. Just getting a little bit of movement into the body, into the legs. We'll come into tabletop. Hands underneath comfortably, tops of the feet on the ground. So let's go ahead and curl just the right toes and sit back into just the right heel as far as you feel like you can. Be careful of your toes. We'll go ahead and come all the way back forward, flatten the right foot, curl the left. And sitting back into just the left heel. Stretch the soles of the feet. And we'll go ahead and come back up into tabletop. Letting your forearms come down to the floor, palms are soft together. We'll exhale through a cat pose. Inhaling to cow on the forearms. Press your forearms into the ground. And release neutral. And we'll come back up into tabletop. Curling your right toes. We'll lift up, press into just the right heel. Hold and breathe. We're looking for the arch side of the foot to be a little bit stronger. The inside of that right heel to be a little closer to the floor than the outside. And we'll take a big step forward with the left foot. Now for some people that is just more than they want to do. So another way to get there is to take the right knee to the floor, kind of climb up the mat, and then come into high lunge here. We're going to walk the foot to the outside of the mat. So the left hand's under left shoulder, left foot's to the outside, and left knee is up against the left shoulder. And we're just going to hold this for a moment. And then letting that right knee drop down to the floor, uncurl the toes. We'll hold this for just a moment. Give your body a chance. And then climbing up onto the thigh. So your feet may be at a little bit more of a diagonal than you're used to. The left foot is actually more lined up at the outside of your left hip. And we'll take the right arm up and overhead. And exhale, just letting it drop down. We'll do that again. Right arm reaches up, little reach. And exhale, letting it drop. This time we'll take that arm up. Rotate all the way around. See if you can follow that with your fingers. Inhale all the way back up. And we'll release down to the floor. Left hands to the inside. Step back. Find normal tabletop. We'll exhale through a cat pose. Inhale to the cow. And curl the left toes, lifting up, pressing back. So if the leg is straight and the back is rounded, bend the knee, flatten back. Finding a little bit more energy, arch side of the foot than the pinky side. So we haven't rolled the inside of the heel off the ground. More breath. All the weight's on the left leg. Looking at the right hand, you can drop the left knee to the floor and step forward, finding high lunge. Right foot goes out to the side. Right hand is underneath the right shoulder, right knee is against that right shoulder. So the foot's a little to the outside. Just hold. And then we'll take left knee down, uncurl the left toes, and just hold. And then climbing up onto that right thigh. So again, right foot is more in line with the outside of the right hip. And inhaling left arm up. And exhale, release. Inhaling left arm up. And exhale, release. And then we'll take that spin all the way around, turning to look at the left hand. And we'll come all the way back. And release both hands to the floor. Stepping back. Sometimes it's better to walk your hands to the side. Bring that knee back and then replace the hands. Curl the toes. We'll lift up. Pedal through both sides of down dog. We'll come forward, dragging the knees to the ground. Slowly letting your body to the floor. Interlace your hands behind you. And we'll lift up into a little bit of cobra, inviting shoulder blades to come together, and then releasing. This time bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhaling, keeping belly button on the ground. Pull yourself a half an inch forward. 2 breaths here. Curl your toes, pressing up through plank, knees to the floor. Uncurl the toes, looking for child's pose. We'll go ahead and return to our simple tabletop. We'll exhale through cat and cow. Maybe 2 times. And we'll go ahead and release. And turning around onto your seat bones. Letting your hands just kind of rest on the floor for a moment, just finding a V shape with your body. So the thighs and the body are in about the same diagonal line. Your seat bones are the bottom of that V. And then broadening through the collarbone, sort of squeezing a little bit into the shoulder blades. Check to see if your knees are going apart. We're looking for seat bones to stay in line with the heels, heels in line with the seat bones and knees. 1 more breath. And grounding into the feet, begin to slowly engage through the belly, and we'll take just the right arm in line with the ears, working the belly a little bit, taking that breath. Left hand is there for support. And we'll release, take right arm back down, shoulder blades pull together, and then left side. Left arm lines up with the ear. Breathe. Keep thinking, pulling the belly button up the front of the body. And we'll replace left hand to the floor. Letting the soles of your feet come together. Go ahead and hold on to your ankles. Getting a little forward fold just to feel as though you're comfortable in your back. So we're not pulling ourselves down. It's almost all with very soft arms. Just letting yourself sink naturally with gravity. A couple of good deep breaths through the back. On your third inhalation, as you breathe in, pause at the top of the inhale, stretching all the muscles in the back, and then exhale. And we'll go ahead and sit up. Let's grab hold of the blanket, and we will put it to the back of the mat. And letting yourself roll down nice and slow to the floor. Yeah, once you get there, draw the knees back in. And we'll take feet to ceiling with the ankles roll a little bit. Soft knee. And then go ahead and draw the knees in. 2 times, we'll take feet up, arms over. Soft knee, soft elbow. Exhaling back. Inhale. Soft knee, soft elbows, exhaling back in. And this time just letting the hands travel down the thigh in that Apanasana. Exhaling as the knees come to you, inhaling the knees away. This time just letting the elbows stay on the ground. Just feeling your thighs move up and down in your hands. Breathing in as the knees move away, hands come to that bend. Exhale, sliding up to the knees. And one last time. When the knees come in, we'll give an extra little hold there. Just squeeze them in. And then release both feet to the floor. Walking your legs, maybe one first and then the other. Just knowing that you took a little bit of time today just to stretch, move the hips, get the back in a little bit of an extension, move the shoulders, letting your legs go down the mat, feet flop apart, inviting the arms to rest on the floor, and just finding an easy muscle progression here, starting at the feet. Sometimes the mind gets waylaid by a thought that comes in, and that's okay. When you recognize that you've been distracted, just come back to where you feel you left off, and just keep picking it up and going on. That's all most of the time we all can do is notice when we're distracted, come back and start. It's the coming back and starting again that's most important. Just pulling yourself back and starting. Coming up through the body, inviting it to rest as much as you can. Making sure when you get up to the neck and the face that you've unlocked the jaw and the muscles around the face. And taking 6 to 10 minutes just to rest. If it's the end of the day and you